Now, some of the things that's going to happen when you look out and see what can I contribute to, what can I give, I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have a voice that's saying, it's just no use. It's out of control now. There will be a voice telling you that you'll be wasting your time and wasting your energy and wasting your effort. I say don't listen to it. Listen to that still small voice that says, I can do something, and I ought to do it. We ought to do it. When you no longer fear dying, what else can life threaten you with? What else? See, when you are willing to risk all of it. See, that's what life is. See, you've got to be willing to give it all up.
Resolve says I will. Two of the most powerful words in the language. I will. Benjamin Disraeli once said, nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on the extent of its purpose. Shortly put, I'll do it or die.
There's nothing off limits. There are no limitations.
There are no limitations to those who believe and those who are willing to work for their dream.
You have to see it in your mind before you can see it in your reality. You have to be a visionary.
Promise yourself you'll read the books until your skills change. You'll go for it until you understand it. You'll practice it until you develop the skills. You never give up until. Go for it. Don't miss the chance to grow.
We gave meanings to the experiences of our life, or other people gave meanings to the experiences that we were having. What you believe will dictate your thoughts on a moment-by-moment basis. And then that emotion then dictates what actions you do or do not take. And they're always aligned, right? Your beliefs dictate your thoughts, dictate your emotions, dictate your actions, which produce your results. And your results, when you look at them, then just reinforce the original belief.
We decide whether or not we can be broken. We decide how far we're willing to go. And at the end of the day, how far you're willing to go, how indomitable your will really is, comes down to one simple thing. Do you believe in what you're fighting for? Are the hard times something that you're willing to push through, to persevere, to get to the other side because you believe to the core of your being in what you're fighting for? And that is something we all have to define for ourselves. That is something we all have to build into the very core of our being.
You want to set some high standards for yourself. There's greatness in you. And you've got to learn how to tune out the critics outside and the critic inside. And since I'm going to do this, I'm going to harness my will. And I'm not going to let anything stop me. You've got to work on yourself. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. And if you look at people who are living below their potential and sinning, and sin in the Aramaic language means falling short of the mark. I asked a question earlier, how many of you have goals? You raise your hands. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you can do more than what you've done? The majority of us raise our hands. Then that was an indication, that was testimony to reflect the fact that you operating below your potential. That's a sin. Herein my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. Didn't just say fruit, much fruit. See, when you leave here, you've got to make a commitment to be more fruitful, to be more productive, to make greater impact. So what will allow you to do that? You got to spend time working on yourself. In order to do, write this down, in order to do something you've never done, you've got to be someone you've never been. In order to do something you've never done, you've got to be someone you've never been. That's why Scripture says you must be born again. You've got to die as you are now. You've got to be willing to give up who you are now for what you can become. Certain things will no longer fit into your life. There's no place for it. In order to do something you've never done, you've got to be someone you've never been. So you've got to spend serious time reading, writing your goals down, reading scripture, anchoring yourself spiritually to handle the storms of life, because they're going to come. So every day you have to sell yourself and get out of your mind those old thoughts, that old belief system. Every day you've got to sell yourself on that it's possible. But you got to put a new mind in you. You got to get out of your mind. You got to begin to restructure your thinking. Every day you've got to begin to recondition your mind.
You said a lot of people never unwrap their gift.
Yeah.
And that really hit me. What does that look like? Like, how does one unwrap their gift?
Yeah, it's a process. It's the process of, I think, facing fear. I mean, we can talk about fear for, like, because facing fear is super important. And we can talk about, like, my process with that, I think, in order to unwrap your gift. So I'm not gonna go into my skydive story, that'll take forever. But I realized, like, what fear is, right? And for me, fear is creating a known result, right, from a situation you haven't experienced yet. And so when I used to go back to football, when I would be scared to go out there and perform, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna drop the ball. I'm gonna miss a pass and the whole crowd of 80,000 people is gonna be like, ah. So I'm like, I'm scared now. Stage, when I'm on stage before I was speaking, what do you think I was thinking? I'm gonna freeze up again. Nobody's gonna care. All of these things, I realized that I was creating a result before I ever experienced it. And so I said, if that's the case, I need to create something better on the other side of that door, something more empowering that's gonna force me to actually go through the door. So now when I speak, I say, you know what? I'm gonna impact at least one life. So go out there and do it. You know, when it comes to my skydiving, of course that thing was, the parachute's not gonna open, you're gonna die. Of course you're not gonna jump out of the plane. But I immediately changed that to this is gonna be the most incredible thing, and also leverage where now I can use this in every area of my life because I conquered my biggest fear. So people out there that are going through fearful moments, it's kind of like this. You will never step into the ring if you're already telling yourself that you're gonna lose before the fight. You'll never do that. Like, why would you, right? So tell yourself you're gonna win. Even if you get knocked down, guess what? You're never knocked out in life until you actually tap out to your last day. So figure out that leverage point with your fear, what's gonna help you walk through the door, and then you have to just give it to the world. I never knew speaking was my gift until I actually went out there and failed. I actually went out there and embarrassed myself. And I realized, like, wow, this is what I was created to do. And I knew that because I like to put it like this, and I hope they get it that's watching this, but I've never had so much like peace in the midst of like fear. Never had so much confidence in the midst of like my weakness in that moment. And so when it comes to gifts, think about it like this. Like when someone gives you a physical gift, like Christmas and your birthday, what do? You unwrap it, you show it to the world, you put it on Instagram. You got that same gift inside you that the world needs. And you're doing the world a disservice by leaving your gift wrapped up. Somebody needs your story. My mom told me this and I'll never forget it. She said, Trent, you're assigned to reach people. I don't know how many, but you're assigned to reach people that nobody else can reach but you. She said, everybody has that. And the more you leave your gift wrapped, those people that need your message, that need your encouragement, whatever it is, that need your talent, they're never gonna get it. And you're not gonna leave this world a better place.
You've been manipulated into believing that there is some other version of you that is better, more lovable, that there's some other version of you that's able to produce in a more effective way. And notice I used the word manipulation. It wasn't by accident. You have been convinced fundamentally that you as you are the problem. Well, while the world convinces you of that, I'm here to tell you that you as you are is the solution. That you as you are is the solution. Because every single one of you in this room represents an infinite potential and a possibility that I can't even quantify in words.
The number one quality and characteristic of these people who live at the apex, who are way beyond just taking care of their biological needs, who are way beyond their social needs, who are way beyond needing to be loved and so on. These are people who came here with a purpose. These are people who have a dharma. These are people who won't let anyone else determine what it is they're going to be. The number one quality of these people is that they are independent of the good opinion of other people. They listen to an inner voice.
So for me, failure is something that you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of, but that's why you should go out there and challenge yourself to fail. Because if you're not failing at something, that means you've set your goals to pass.
You're lost in thought almost every moment of your life, and much of your thinking has this mediocre character of causing you to worry about the future and regret the past, and just feel a baseline dis-ease with life.
There's always a next level. Your definition of greatness and what you want to achieve could be totally different than somebody else's. You know, we always say, no one wants to be first, okay, because they're afraid of the consequences that come with doing something first.